There are some secrets in life that we carry with us, tucked away so deep inside that no one else can see them. They're the kind of secrets that, if shared, could change everything, not just for us, but for everyone around us. The kind that, if spoken aloud, might tear apart the very fabric of what we've built. For me, this secret was something I carried for years, hoping that one day it would fade into the background, forgotten and never spoken of again. But it never did. It stayed with me, quietly haunting me in the shadows of my thoughts. My name is Grace, and this is the story of the secret I could never tell. Growing up, I always tried to be the good daughter, the good friend, the good student. I tried to do everything by the book, to follow all the rules and live up to everyone's expectations. My parents especially had high hopes for me. They wanted me to be successful, to go to a good college, to make them proud. And I wanted to make them proud more than anything. But along with those high hopes came a constant pressure. The pressure to be perfect, to never make a mistake, to always have everything together. It wasn't easy. I was the oldest of 3 siblings, and I always felt like I had to set the example. I was supposed to be the role model, the one everyone could look up to. My younger brother Noah and my little sister Lily looked to me for guidance, for reassurance, and I always gave it to them, even when I didn't feel sure of myself. I tried to always be the calm one, the steady one, the one who never lost her cool. But there was one thing I could never bring myself to say. Something that, if I had, would have changed everything. It all started when I was 16. I had just started high school and was adjusting to the new world of teenage drama, social groups, and endless expectations. It was a time when everything felt like it was changing, and I was struggling to keep up. I had a group of friends, but I was never the one who stood out. I wasn't the popular girl, the one who always had a boyfriend, or the one who was always the center of attention. I was the quiet one, the one who preferred to stay in the background, to avoid conflict, to avoid standing out too much. And then there was Ethan. Ethan wasn't like anyone I had ever met before. He wasn't the type of guy who followed the crowd. He was different, kind, thoughtful, and a little mysterious. He had a way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the room, like everything you said mattered. We had met in freshman year, but it wasn't until later that summer that we started spending more time together. It started with casual conversations at the local coffee shop, then turned into long walks around the neighborhood, talking about everything and nothing all at once. I'll never forget the way he looked at me, like he could see straight through to the real me, the one I tried so hard to hide from the world. He made me feel like I was special, like I was more than just the quiet girl in the corner. It wasn't long before I started to like him, and not just like him in a casual way, but really like him. But there was one problem. Ethan had a secret of his own, one that, at the time, I didn't fully understand. It wasn't until a few months later that he told me. He sat me down on a bench by the lake where we liked to go, his eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and fear. He told me that he had been struggling with something that had been weighing on him for years. He had an older brother, Ben, who had gotten involved in things he shouldn't have. Ethan's brother had gotten in trouble with the law, and it had caused a lot of problems in their family. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that Ethan felt like it was his fault. He blamed himself for not being able to stop Ben from making those choices. He blamed himself for not being there when his brother needed him the most. I remember feeling a knot in my stomach as he spoke, unsure of how to respond. I wanted to tell him that it wasn't his fault, that no one could control what other people did. But the words didn't come. All I could do was listen, and I could see the pain in his eyes. It was like he was carrying a burden so heavy that it threatened to crush him. That's when I made a choice. I promised Ethan that I would keep his secret, that I would never tell anyone about what he had confided in me. I swore that I would protect him, just like he had protected me by sharing his story. And I did. For months, I kept that promise. I never told anyone about Ethan's brother, about the things he had gone through. or the guilt that Ethan was carrying. I kept it to myself, thinking I was doing the right thing. But in the process, I started to lose a part of myself. The more I kept Ethan's secret, the more I realized how much I was hiding from everyone around me. I was carrying my own guilt, my own shame. I wasn't just keeping Ethan's secret. I was keeping my own. I was keeping the fact that I had fallen for him, that I had developed feelings that went beyond friendship. I was keeping the secret that I wanted to be with him, that I wanted to be the one who helped him through everything. But I knew I couldn't. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't risk everything. My family, my friends, my future, for a secret love that might never work out. As time went on, things became more complicated. Ethan and I grew closer, but we also grew apart. The more I tried to keep things hidden, the more it started to eat away at me. I became withdrawn, anxious, and unsure of myself. I started to question everything. My feelings for Ethan, my relationship with my family, my future. I felt like I was living a lie, pretending to be something I wasn't, just to protect a secret that was slowly breaking me inside. It all came to a head one evening when I was at home, sitting in the kitchen with my mom. She had always been my rock, the one person I could always talk to about anything. But that night, as I looked at her across the table, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I wanted to tell her everything. About Ethan, about my feelings for him, about the secret I was carrying. I wanted to tell her that I wasn't okay, that I needed help. But the words wouldn't come. The fear of disappointing her, of letting her down, kept me silent. And so, I kept the secret. The months passed, and I continued to hide my feelings, my guilt, and my pain. I watched as Ethan started to pull away, as he dealt with his own issues, and as I struggled to hold everything together. I knew deep down that something had to give, that I couldn't keep pretending forever. But I didn't know how to fix it, how to make it right. It wasn't until the summer after senior year that I finally realized something important. I had spent so much time protecting other people's secrets, so much time hiding the truth, that I had forgotten to take care of myself. I had forgotten that it was okay to not be perfect, to not have everything figured out. It was okay to make mistakes, to be vulnerable, and to share the things that were weighing me down. So, one day, I sat down with Ethan and told him the truth. I told him that I had feelings for him, that I had been hiding them for so long because I didn't know how to deal with them. And then I told him the most important thing, that I was tired of carrying this secret, tired of pretending that everything was okay when it wasn't. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't perfect. But in that moment, I felt like a weight had been lifted. I had finally shared my secret, and while it didn't fix everything, it was a step toward healing. And that's the thing about secrets. They can eat you up from the inside out, but once you share them, once you let them go, you begin to heal. You begin to see the light again. So, if you're holding on to a secret, I want you to know that it's okay to let it go. You don't have to carry it alone. Sometimes the hardest part is taking the first step, but once you do, you'll realize that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you.